It's time for local stories from across the East. Local food. Local fashion. Local businesses. This is your home for local. This is the East's Daily Download on Eastern North Carolina CW.
Hello and welcome to the East Daily Download. My name is Mark and I'll be your tour guide on this adventure across the East. Hello, it's Tuesday. Hope your day's off to a great start so far. Got a big show in store for you today. Why am I wearing an oven mitt? Well, that's a good story and a good explanation for that, and I will get to that in just a little bit. But I assure you, everybody here in the studio behind this camera right now loves the reason that I have this oven mitt on. Right? We're at WNCT.com under that East Daily Download tab. Also really exciting, we're also on the WNCT mobile app. So you download the mobile app at your Google Play or App Store, and then you can go to the East Daily Download section on that app, and it's great. You can watch it anywhere you are. Also, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the East Daily Download tab. We'd love for you to follow us. We'd love to hear from you, share pictures, videos, all that great stuff. Okay, like I said, we have a big show in store for you, and what that entails is this. We take a look at the upcoming North Carolina State Fair. In entertainment, we look at the new CBS sitcom Bob Hart's Abishola. We continue our behind-the-scenes look of WNCT-9 First Alert Weather's coverage of Hurricane Dorian. And as if that wasn't enough, right now, I'm hungry. I don't know about you, but let's go eat Down Eat's 3 C's Barbecue. Let's do it.
It's no secret, Eastern North Carolina is known for barbecue.
You leave from here, the barbecue changes.
But there's a relatively new restaurant just outside of Pink Hill that has the locals talking.
But if you want good barbecue, you come here.
But you'd better get here in a hurry.
I mean, when we run out, that's it.
That fact has many walking through the door when this place opens.
Can't beat it. 3 C's.
3 C's Barbecue opened in August of 2017, fulfilling a lifelong dream for owner Clarence Burr Jr.
My husband worked with Pepsi for 20 years, and he retired. And I didn't want him sitting around the house doing nothing. So I suggested we do this, and that's what he did.
I've told my wife many times I wish I'd go back to work with Pepsi so I could rest.
But the long hours cooking pigs out back is nothing new for Clarence. Barbecue is in his DNA.
It all started with my daddy. He taught us how when we were young, probably 14 years old, the first pig we ever cooked. It turned out great because we listened to our daddy and done just like he said do.
That's what it was all about. His father really, was the beginning of it all.
We have a meat cleaver that we chop barbecue with that belonged to my father's daddy. My son is the 4th generation that's chopped with that same old wood handle meat cleaver, I mean, it goes way back.
And that family history led to the name 3 C's.
And I was named after him. My son was named after me. I said, well, it's 3 C's. So that's what we went with.
We know it's something he always wanted to do, and he always cooked pigs, and our dad showed him how, taught him how, and he could cook a good pig.
Oh, outstanding. I'm only a mile down the road. If I want a quick lunch, a quick supper, it's right here. Like good, clean restaurant, nice atmosphere, you can't beat it.
The closest place is Kinston or Goldsboro or Jacksonville. So, yeah, people around here love it. It's convenient.
Now it's on to the future for 3 C's. Several generations of barbecue lovers still learning lessons along the way.
Yeah, it's been fun. We've made a lot of friends, met a lot of new people. We have new customers every day, every time we open.
I never thought it would be this busy retired, but I've enjoyed it.
Now downloading Tech Beat Tuesday.
3 new iPhones are about to hit the market: the iPhone 11, iPhone Pro, and iPhone Max. But before you upgrade, here are some things to consider. Hands down, the biggest change to this new line of phones is the cameras. The 11 will now have 2 cameras on the back for wide and ultra-wide pictures. The higher-end models, the Pro and the Max versions, now boast 3, adding an additional lens for telephoto. While the exterior finishes and colors have changed, the phone is still not 5G compatible or able to reverse charge your other devices. The new iPhones start at $699, much less than expected, and will go on sale September 20th. But if you're not ready to pull the trigger on this new lineup, don't forget the iPhone 8 and last year's iPhone XR are still for sale for significantly reduced prices. For all iPhone and Apple news and reviews, visit cnet.com. In San Francisco, I'm Cara Suboy with CNET for CBS News.
Watch your local WNCT 9 in your side news on our live stream on WNCT.com or on our mobile app.
Hey, welcome back to the East Daily Download. I'm putting on my Bob's Burgers apron. There's a good reason for that and a good reason I have this oven mitt on. By the way, Bob's Burgers, weekdays 6 p.m. on Eastern North Carolina CW. There's 2 back-to-back episodes. That's a plug for the show. It's funny. Watch it. Okay, coming up in a little bit, we are going to go to the State Fair, talk about the State Fair. This is coming up shortly. Also, we're going to have a behind-the-scenes look at the new CBS sitcom Bob Hart's Abishola. But right now, what we want to do is go behind the scenes with the WNCT-9 First Alert Weather Team. Now, recently we had Hurricane Dorian hit the East. We had our team at the East Daily Download following the meteorologist and the teams out in the field, kind of documenting their experiences and why they covered it the way they did and the decisions that were made to bring you the best coverage possible. Let's take a look.
Like above a week before it became a hurricane and entered eastern North Carolina. We've been tracking it in the tropics probably 8 days prior to that. It slowed down and downsized to a Category 2 system as it approached eastern North Carolina. But because we'd been tracking it so long, we knew what to expect before it even got here. This was my very first one. I'm glad to had gotten my feet wet, but I'll take one per year from now on out. The coolest thing about working for this team is that throughout our day-to-day experience, we're out doing different stories throughout eastern North Carolina, whether it be sports, news-related, or weather. But we were all hands on deck during Hurricane Dorian, and that was excellent to see because it's amazing to me how people step outside of their element, step outside of their comfort zone, and cover something that I'm typically comfortable doing, and seeing them use that meteorological knowledge to bring to viewers at home to make sure that they're safe and well-informed was just absolutely awesome. Here, we had wall-to-wall coverage. That means nonstop news, no commercial breaks, no cutting to different reporters when we are talking about tracking hurricanes. So I think our first shift of wall-to-wall coverage started at 2 o'clock with me and our morning meteorologist, Alex Wassilenko. And we went on air for morning edition at 4:30. So morning edition typically runs from 4:30 until 7. But I believe we got our first tornadic warning right around 6:30, 6:45, which meant that we had to shift from the regular morning edition segment to covering for tornadic coverage. The very first tornadic warning until probably 2 o'clock when we had our shift change. We received upwards of 20 different tornadic cells moving throughout eastern North Carolina. We did a great job forecasting the events, so it's always great to look at your forecast, but also verify that forecast to make sure that you stay on par. So we forecasted a maximum of 10 to 15 inches of rain for our coastal counties, according to the National Weather Service. Hyde County measured in at 13.74 inches, so that's right on par with our forecasted totals. We also forecasted a maximum 6 to 10 inches of rain for our inland counties. Kinston accumulated 8.68 inches. And then lastly, for our maximum wind gusts along the coast, we forecasted between 74 and 110 miles per hour. And Cedar Island Ferry, they measured in at 110 miles per hour. So that was on par as well. So it was always great to check those forecasts that we came up with as a team and verify those with what actually happened.
I mean, I can't say it enough. I mean, people, you hear all these stories about a tornado coming, it sounds like a loud roar. Well, yesterday the ocean was really rough, so we had the ocean waves crashing and the sound and stuff like that, just the sound of the ocean, and then all of a sudden, this noise, roar, sounded like just stuff was tearing up everywhere. I couldn't see it because I was in the trailer packing up, trying to get the heck out of there. So I went down in the hallway of the camper, covered myself up, closed my eyes, and said, this is it. And it seemed like forever, but it was only like 10 or 15 seconds later that the noise went away, the camper quit shaking, and next thing I know, I walked out and I saw it when it was going away from me, and I knew we had been in a tornado. Campers were demolished. The biggest thing is when the tornado hit, it shook me up so bad. I knew I couldn't face going through the hurricane. My parents were shook up because they knew what I just went through, and I felt like it was the right thing to do to come back home where all my family was here. My brother was here, you know, all my family's from right around here, majority of them. It was just so shaken up, you know, like with the camper being shook up the way it was and seeing all the devastation. I was like, Dorian's not even here yet. I'm definitely leaving. I mean, it's time to get out of here.
Thank you for trusting WNCT-9 First Alert Weather for all of your coverage throughout Hurricane Dorian.
Hey, welcome back to the East Daily Download. Hope you're doing well. It is Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's also a very special day that you'll learn more about in just a minute, National Cookie Day, Homemade Cookie Day, excuse me. And that's what everybody's so excited to hear about in the studio because they know cookies are coming. So I'm going to go put these in the oven. But first, North Carolina State Fair. We got a story about that coming up right now. Let's go behind the scenes of the new CBS show, Bob Hart's Abishola. I got to go put these in the oven.
You look like an angel.
Huh?
Bob is a Detroit guy. He's a self-made man. He took over the family business and when it was failing and continues to keep it afloat. And the stress leads him to a heart attack and he wakes up in the hospital. What's your name?
Abishola.
What a coincidence. That's my mother's name.
I help him recuperate. In turn, he pursues me, and we'll see where that goes.
So, anyway, is today like a day off for you?
Yes, goodbye. She's a hardworking Nigerian woman who is seeking a better life for herself and her family, her son.
What does he do?
He makes socks.
Oh, so it's like a woman.
It's fundamentally a love story, but it also, we wanted to write about the immigrant experience.
We love it to be proper, authentic. We want it to be funny. If you've never seen African immigrants represented on American TV in such a way, it's just a family. These are people who just come to the country, they're working hard and they're just trying to make a life. And so that's why I was brought in to help write that. A lot of the experiences that you're gonna see in the show came directly from my life.
She not only helped us with the cultural aspects, which we could not have done, but also she's a crazy, talented comedian.
Who is this?
It's a universal story of love, of creating a better life for yourself, a better life for your family and for those that you love.
There couldn't be two more different people, and I think it's going to be very sweet to see if she can just give him a chance.
A typical day for me, a sports reporter, I come in around 8:45. Typically, I'm supposed to leave around 5:45. Normally end up staying later for some football games. But switching to weather was a big adjustment because you go from reporting on sports to reporting on news, which is a whole different animal, and the terminology used, especially with weather, just even the very minor things that you can't say, whether it's between a major hurricane or a hurricane, which I learned a major hurricane is anything category 3 and up. And if I was a regular sports reporter, I wouldn't have known that. So thanks to our weather team, they really did a fantastic job, you know, educating us and making sure we were prepped and ready to go out there. So my first day covering Hurricane Dorian, I was in the studio, really kind of going over social media and helping with the web team, and then would update on the news. I would go ahead and front that and talk about the tweets that are coming in. My second day into Hurricane Dorian, I went out with Anissa and we were out in the field kind of gathering the aftermath. It was exciting. I know it probably shouldn't feel that way because it is a scary thing, but my first hurricane I ever covered, there was a big adrenaline rush. I really enjoyed it, and I am not looking forward to another hurricane, but to the reporting aspect of it. Yeah, I thought it was a great, really great experience. Bernie did an awesome job kind of pairing everyone up. You know, we had teams that went out to Atlantic Beach and Emerald Isle, all over the place. I got to work with our lovely Anissa, who typically I don't normally see. She's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes and with the East Daily Download. I'm walking away from this hurricane having more knowledge and better relationships with some of our staff members. It was definitely a great experience, one that I will certainly not forget.
If your business would like to be featured in our new show, The East Daily Download, contact Joe Bullard at 252-355-8520 or jbullard@WNCT.com today and watch The East Daily Download weekdays at 7 on Eastern North Carolina's CW. And we're officially less than a month away from the start of the North Carolina State Fair. And you can now go ahead and buy tickets. You can get them in the checkout lines at Food Lion stores, now through October 17th. The early bird sales are just for basic tickets. This year's State Fair runs from October 17th to October 27th.
Watch your local WNCT 9 in your side news on our live stream on WNCT.com or on our mobile app.
%90 of what the Red Cross does, we do with volunteers.
Volunteers like Mona Jones.
I'm so delighted to be here.
She's in training to be a part of the American Red Cross Disaster Action Team.
Our disaster action teams are our frontline disaster responders.
Being the first to lend a helping hand during natural disasters, things like hurricanes and house fires.
So it comes natural, yes. Well, I've always had that nurturing effect. I retired from the airline industry of 23 years of service. So I've always been the first responder or always been the nurturing one.
Jones is just one of a handful of people who attended this weekend's disaster boot camp in Greenville, learning how to talk to, help, and care for the needs of people who are facing their most troubling times. Recently, the disaster action team was there for the 26 people who lost their apartments during the fire at the District at the Tar apartment complex in Greenville. Michael Brown with the Eastern North Carolina region of the American Red Cross says the disaster action teams are there to help you make a plan.
If we have a home fire and the fire department calls us, then we respond to the scene. We work with individuals on identifying their immediate disaster-caused needs, food, shelter, replacement medicines if they need it, and helping people to come up with a plan for where do I go from here.
He says it takes a village in these types of situations.
I think that's the reason people are here, is that they want to help their community.
Helping the community, something Jones is always ready to do.
I will be absolutely ready. On the road to success.
In Greenville, Aaron Dean, 9 on your side.
Thank you for trusting WNCT 9 First Alert Weather for all of your coverage throughout Hurricane Dorian.
The rain and the wind have just stayed consistent.
The current is getting even stronger.
The wind is really starting to pick up.
Hits you like a huge gust. There's chairs in power lines.
Not a soul is here.
This is a dangerous and large hurricane
because it is a far-reaching storm with far-reaching impacts.
Don't know if you guys can see, but the power actually did just go out.
WNCT 9 on your side brought you complete team coverage as Dorian moved along the east.
From North Topsail Beach.
In Kinston, North Carolina.
In Emerald Isle.
From New Bern.
From Belhaven.
In Washington, North Carolina.
From New Bern.
To Emerald Isle.
In North Topsail Beach. Yeah, it is very extreme out here.
Since it's finally getting some daylight out here, we wanted to come out and get our first glimpse of the water.
We'll be with you through the duration of this storm.
Stay with us for more on recovery efforts on air and online at WNCT.com. Whether it's a Category 5 or a thunderstorm, trust the WNCT-9 First Alert Weather Team to be here for you with your accurate forecast to help keep you safe and ahead of the storm. WNCT-9 First Alert Weather, on air, online, and on the go.
Thank you. Next. We make a good team, world's finest.
Batwoman, followed by Supergirl. Sundays are super, beginning October 6th on the CW.
Why are you waiting until 11 o'clock to watch local news and local weather? Join us weeknights at 10 on the Eastern North Carolina CW.
Well, that's going to do it for another edition here of the East Daily Download. We are glad that you joined us today. And today, as I mentioned before, is National Homemade Cookies Day, so I made some for the staff and the crew here. And they, oh, sure. Okay, well, that was quick. So apparently everybody likes homemade cookies. So make homemade cookies for someone you know or love or care about, or friends or family today. We will see you tomorrow on the East Daily Download. Have a great day. I got to go make more cookies. Bye. Wednesday, when we hit the road for the next edition of the East Daily Download, 10 p.m. anchor Angie Casada will join us for Q&A with AQ. We take a look at the new CBS courtroom drama, All Rise. We continue our look behind the scenes of WNCT-9 First Alert Weather's coverage of Hurricane Dorian. And WNCT-9 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jerry Jackson will introduce us to this week's Weather Kid. So join us Wednesday for an all-new The East Daily Download on Eastern North Carolina's CW.